Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and welcome back. My name's Exa, and I have a bit of a shoe problem. And I love combining my love of shoes and fashion with my love of crafts and art projects. So for this video, we're going to be working on part 2 of making my very own pair of shoes. If you haven't watched part 1, you should go check that out first. But since Christmas is almost here and I need to wrap these presents and get them sent off to the correct person, let's get started making some shoes. So once we check the fit, as you saw, we can go ahead and line them both up and make sure they're going to where the seams are going to be. So as you can see, there's a little bit of overlap on both sides. So I'm going to stitch a side with a zipper in first, which is going to be the outside edge on this side. And then we will fit it to here and then adjust to the other side because that one's going to be more easy to chain. So then our zipper is going to fit in kind of like this. So I'm just going to even up these edges and make them nice and straight along to go alongside my zipper. I haven't entirely figured out what I'm going to do about this top edge of the zipper. Probably just fold it down and put a few stitches. But we'll see. So here's my piece, and to make a nice straight edge, I'm just lining up a straight edge of cardboard, and then I'm going to use my little X-Acto knife and just go down along the edge of the cardboard to make a nice straight edge. Just like that, now we have a perfect straight edge for the outside seam. So we'll do that again with the upper. So now when you look at our zipper, you're going to see there's some nice even edges. So if you have like a thicker pattern leather like this one, in order to get a sewing machine to work, you are going to want to kind of gently skive the edges. So for this, I'm just using this little shaving tool. It's basically just a razor blade with a handle on it, so that way you can scrape just thin, flat layers off of this. So you don't want to make it too thin where it might tear, but just clean off a little bit just to make it thin enough and soft enough on the back, since it is a pressed leather to go through the machine. And you can see on my test piece here that I was able to sew through it, so now we can go ahead with the zipper. So I'm just lining up the edge of the zipper with the top edge of my leather pieces, and then just throwing a straight line all the way down to attach the two together. Alright, so now we have that sewed together on one side with the zipper. Don't worry about this bottom part because it's going to get tucked under the shoe. So it's just going to be like the zipper goes all the way down the side. So now we're going to need to sew these sides together. But to make sure that I'm sewing them in the right spot, I'm going to do a test fit. So this is kind of tricky, but I'm going to kind of hold this guy in place where I want him on this side, and wrap it around and hold that side. Make sure that we're going to have enough distance for all this good stuff down here, like that. So then if we bring him over, we know we're going to want to attach him right here down the side. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that with a Sharpie. So here I have them lined up in the spot where I want to sew them together. And I'm actually just going to hand sew it with the machine. So basically just take the crank and manually turn it to go through this. And that is because the two pieces of leather together are a little bit thick for my machine to handle, and I don't want to bend or break the needle or damage my machine. So I'm just going slowly and carefully using my own arm strength to propel it down the seam. So this is going to be good if you are working with thicker leathers on a just standard sewing machine. I would definitely recommend doing it this way. And this is also going to be a good technique if you're going around tight turns and corners, just because you can go so much slower and just very carefully turn the angle that you want to make sure you're getting the stitches exactly where you want them. Got that all stitched. So here's our shoe form. It's ready to go. Slide it on to our last and kind of line up where we want stuff, and then flip him over. We're going to start using our glue. So I'm just going to run some glue along the edge of my shoe. I'm going to start with the front and then we'll do the back. And then we can take our shoe form and kind of fit him in. I'm just going to take some little nails. Hopefully I have enough left. And hammer this stuff into place. So first, just to hold my shoe form, I'm going to go and put a couple nails just to hold the cardboard base in place so that way it doesn't slide and shift around while I am pulling the upper fabric tight and then hammering those in. And then we're going to start wrapping it. So again, I do want to make sure that this is staying lined up how I want it to on the sides, which it is. So I'm just going to start over here on the side. We're just going to pull this over, pop a nail in. Same thing over here. Line them up. So again, I'm just going to check and see how this top is looking. It's looking okay. We will trim this around a little more. So this is fine. So I'm just going to go all the way around the shoe using my pliers to help get a good grip to pull the upper tight around the base and then hammering it into place. And the nails are just to help hold the shape of it while the glue is drying, but the glue is actually what is attaching these two pieces together. So you want to make sure that you have enough glue on the upper and the cardboard so that way it's going to strongly adhere them together. So then once I've finished the front part and gotten that all tight and nailed down, I'm going to do the same thing with the sides and the back and just fold it over and hammer in some nails to hold the fabric in place. Hey guys, so here we are. I let them dry overnight and now I'm going to pull the nails and trim off some of this extra fabric, I guess. They're actually coming out really nicely. I'm pretty damn impressed with myself. Alright, so now that they're dry, I'm just going back through and taking all of the nails out. As you can see here, I did struggle with some of them. I kind of punched them in a little bit farther than I probably needed to. You only need the nails to just go into the last material far enough so that way they're going to stay put. You definitely don't need to like hammer them all the way in or anything. That would make it so much harder to get them back out again. So now I'm going to go in and just trim off some of this extra on the heel here. So you really only need about a ½ inch of material to be folded over going around the edge to hold it into place. So any more than that, you can just kind of peel it back off and take out the extra. And then where all this like raised bits are, you can see it's like sticking up, it's not flat on the side. We're gonna kind of shave some of that off too. This is another place where you can use your little skimming tool to help shave some of that extra off and make it flat. Make sure you don't shave too much off so that way it's getting down to the integrity of the layers in the glue where it might start to pull apart from wear. And you don't need to make it perfectly flat and smooth the whole way around because we will be pressing the soles onto it, which will help further compress that layer down, but you definitely want to get those big bumps off. And any little straggler pieces that are just kind of hanging on, you can go ahead and cut those off with your razor blade as well. So here I'm just going to do the same thing that I did on the back onto the toe area, just slowly and carefully kind of peeling off some of that extra material from where the folds are around the corners of the shoe. Anything along those side areas where it's completely flat and smooth, you don't have to worry about. They're perfectly fine the way they are. Now it's pretty much flat. Ta-da! The uppers are done. Be sure to click on part 3 when that comes out in a few days to see how I finished up this shoe project. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope your day is as beautiful as you are.